Oh, wow. Another work week is done, eh? Just waiting for myself to pop up here. And we'll be a few people here and one like. What fun. Ah, this is so much fun to just sit here and people are already waiting, the chat is going, and it's lovely. It really is lovely. Why am I not popping up? Come on, YouTube. There we go. I'm live. Broadcasting, streaming, doing my thing. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. So, hello to people who are there. BMXers says, tonight on HNN, Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak, Kook. Yes, indeed. He was a man of, among the, let's say, Haredi community, there was a controversy and a machloket. There were people who were very, very much against him because of the things he was saying about the more secular Zionist enterprise. You're Kirk indeed, Bloodnose. You Kirk indeed. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, Sneezer. Good evening, good evening. Another Thursday has come. It's the end of our work week. And tomorrow we prep for Shabbos. There were so many years of my life where I had to work on Friday and sometimes on Saturday night and sometimes during the same weekend. I thank God that I have now, more often than not, Fridays off. If I haven't procrastinated or put things off and I don't have too many hours to fulfill, right, complete, then I don't need to work Fridays. And it's such a blessing. I remember. Well do I remember working Friday every week. Well do I remember sometimes going, right, getting dressed already before Havdalah, before we say goodbye to the Sabbath Queen, because I had to go to work and be there a half hour after Shabbos was over. And forget work. I remember times in the army, Fridays and Shabbos is, okay, run, hello, shalom to you, shalom Ariel Marshall, hello. Okay, so I didn't have a specific passage prepared at 8 o'clock an hour ago, and then I had to run out for an errand, and I said to myself, okay, I don't want to do something on the fly, so I'll choose something really short, and the shortest piska, the shortest section of Rav Kook's Orot HaTshuvah is one sentence. Hang on, I'll tell you where it is. I remember it by heart. It's one sentence. But I'll give you the chapter and verse. Okay, it is Orot HaTshuvah, chapter 14, section 4. And it's one sentence. And that sentence is, the majority of the falls come because he does not believe in the ease of chuva. Pardon me? Oh, okay. And Rav Kook says in the beginning, in the introduction to Orot HaTshuvah, and this is reiterated in different sections and passages and from different angles and in different ways, the fact that tshuva has a duality to it. On the one hand, there is a oneness. It's the origin and the destination and the journey. On the other hand, when it comes here in this life, pertaining to this particular life, not tshuva as that thing necessarily that existed before creation, but where it exists here in life. Rav Kook says this is about tshuva in this life, here and now. Right? 1924, it was published. Ikar hanefilot ba'ot, the majority of the falls come because he does not believe in the ease of tshuva. And he says in the introduction, on the one hand, it's the easiest thing in the world. Merely contemplating tshuva is already orienting yourself towards it in some way, and as such, it is part of tshuva, and it holds to tshuva. It's holding on to that root already, even in thought, even if it has not yet come to fruition, actually, right, in life. On the other hand, there's that ease of tshuva, and on the other hand, he says tshuva has never been 100% manifested and expressed in the world. And it's within that spectrum of a thought of tshuva is already tshuva, and tshuva has never been implemented fully 100% in life. It has to do with the nature of tshuva, it has to do with the tree of life. We never partook of the tree of life. Hence, that full tshuva, that image of God in fullness, I think that the tree of life is going to bring something very new. And so I don't know what it will be, but insofar as tshuva is something which has to do with bina, which has to do with the higher realms, most of the falls come because he does not believe in the ease of tshuva. The adversary keeps whispering in your ear, justifiably so sometimes, and saying, you're not going to return from this. This is you. This is who you are. These are your weaknesses. These are your failures. This is what you're not good at. This is where your inadequacies lie. And to some degree, the adversary has a point, right? We're a certain amount of dark-skinned or light-skinned. We're a certain amount of, right, our genetic code. There's a large genetic component to who you are physically. Who you are physically does, and mentally, I think, as well, to some degree. And that affects your entire life. And so while there is this seemingly arbitrary element, there's an ease of tshuva, of believing in yourself, of having faith in yourself, that allows you to overcome your weaknesses. And that idea of tshuva, of being, I can be better, I know I can be better, I can conceptualize it, I can really, really perceive it, even if it starts very, very small, maybe especially when it starts very, very small. I can be that much better. And that idea of tshuva is already just a tiny, tiny nano something of a degree towards the good, towards the better. And bringing it into life is difficult. It's tough. We come about, each and every one of us, with our own genetic component, or genetics that has many components that affect our lives, and the baggage of our life experiences, and everything, that idiosyncratic you, that's only you. So I wouldn't presume, and I think that's why he says ikar hanefilot, most of the falls. He doesn't say the entirety of the falls. But the adversary sets up the stage, we do wrong or transgress, and then there's that, what now? And Rav Kook says, it's easy. All you need is love, right? All you need is tshuva. And that's loving yourself and believing in yourself. Once again, it does not give you an excuse to say, oh, it's okay, God will forgive me, people will forgive me, I'll just be bad and recant on my deathbed or whatever. Did I say Beth dead? Never mind. Deathbed. Most of the falls come because he does not believe in the ease of tshuva. One of my, somebody I knew in Tzfat, a very great man, he put this to music at the end of one of his songs. He's a musician, he plays bass, and occasionally, perhaps he's working on an album, but occasionally he'll produce or have a song produced in the studio with more of a band and not just him on the bass. And one of his songs from the recent years ends with this line. The ease of tshuva, it is so easy. It's so easy. In the same way that sometimes with, let's say, when you're in a bad place and you have, for men anyway, post-nut clarity, and suddenly you were like, this is not who I want to be, this is not what I want to be doing, this is not where I want to find myself. And it's so easy in that moment to see, oh, of course, I don't want to do this again. Kaluta shel tshuva. Implementing it is very difficult. But most of the falls come, he says, because he does not believe, right? A person does not believe in the ease of tshuva. It seems like this insurmountable thing because of the importance that the Torah places on it, because of its significance, because of its necessity. It's a very huge thing. And yet it's so easy. It's said that when Adonai takes evil away from the world, right? When evil is eradicated, fulfills its purpose, taken out, conquered, then the righteous people would be able to see the evil inclination as a large, unclimbable mountain. And the wicked people would see the evil inclination and wickedness as like a thread of a hair, right? Like something that thin, strong perhaps, but thin, flexible. At any rate. And the righteous people would say, how could we be expected to climb this mountain and conquer its summit, right? And get to the peak? And the wicked people look and they say, how could we not get over this tiny thing? We here and now, who are not dead or living and have not yet tasted, the fruit of the tree of life as human beings, we have tshuva. If you're Hebrew, right? Torah, covenants, commandment. And for those who aren't, I believe if you want to be who you want to be and be all you want, and there's a kind of element to you that needs to not give up, just keep going, despite your frailties, despite your failures, despite where you're broken. Parts of you that are broken, you can, I'm not even going to say counter it, but you can double down on places where you feel you are doing well, which is why it's so important to be noticing the good things about oneself. But yes, says Rav Kook, most of the falls come because he does not believe in the ease of tshuva. This is that part of the duality of tshuva here in this world, which is, of course, it's simply trying to be righteous and true and honest and lead a good life. Care for those around me, be a blessing. These are all things which people have said throughout the generations from many faiths and religions that yes, this is the way to be in the world. To return, to know thyself. Okay, let's go to the chat. I've been holding my tea. Wait, gotta get the tea bag out. Okay. Let's go to the chat. Hello, people in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So, shaloms were exchanged. One sentence, well, better be a good one. Rasta Jew says, I pet goat the second, is it the second or junior or two? Which one is it? Well, junior would be JR. No, I don't consider myself a Rasta, but I definitely, some of my views correspond heavily with Rastafarians. So, Sinanizar says, it is a good one. I have found it far easier than most assume to fill with unconditional love. I hear ya. Could you show us your knees? I'm gonna have to pass this time, but by all means, ask, because maybe one of these days I'll do it again. No, Nazarite, very similar. So, Sinanizar, I wonder if we see the similarities in the same way other than the dreadlocks. Where do you see the Nazarite chip meet the Rasta way? I mean, I know where I do. Maybe I've spoken of it. Maybe in that we agree. I wonder if we agree, do you see things a little differently or a different angle? Or the more you know, says Pet Goat 2. Yes, indeed. But that may only be with God's help. Shrug, said Sneezer. Well, they say like a circle has no beginning or end. In that way, that's how you need to see yourself. I need to make a motion. I need to start. I need to do something. Let the beginning be now, and momentum will carry me. Which is why it's very important not to fall very low. It's important to fall just low enough, if you will, for change, real change to occur. From the micro decision to the monumental life changes that one undergoes. Hello, Ella. Hello, HN, she says. Shalom to you all. It's nice to be here. Dark Corner says Black and Cherokee. Black and Cherokee. Andrew is here, and he says, when you order Adrian Brody off of Temu. Well, I don't know who Adrian Brody is. Let's Google him for a moment and see an image. I mean, that's supposed to be, assuming we're talking about the same Adrian Brody. Are you talking about me or someone else in the chat? Because I don't think I look anything like him from the quick scan that I just took. I'm a big fan of cold cheese curds. Meaning curdled cheese, curdled cold cheese, or people of Kurdistan, curds, wrapped up in cheese on ice, or what are curds? I'm ignorant, so let me know. What is your favorite color of Skittles? I have no favorite color. I very seldom try Skittles. Very seldom do I taste the rainbow of Skittles anyway. And my favorite color, I don't know. Let's go with blue. Let's go with blue. Ever tried poutine? No, it's poutine. Quebec dish, fried curds. Oh, so what are curds? I might know it in Hebrew, but what is it in English? I have, and gravy. What kind of gravy is it, Sneezer? Is a BMW 3 a gain? I don't know anything about cars. I'm still in the process of getting my license actually now, so I'm not the person to ask about BMWs. I know that people have said this. A luxury mainstream car is better than the low-level, low-tier BMW. So I don't know if it's a gain or a loss. Depends. If it puts you into debt, it's not a gain. That's what I would say. If it puts you into debt, it's not a gain. Giefer, yo, I buy weed off this dude. Nay, I'm not a salesman. Lloyd Divine is back here, back in the house. Not wicked, just... Did I miss something before? Is there something after? MR3T, praying to Jerusalem, sir, our new Qibla. What is Qibla? Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum salam. Sanita says, people trying to take the easy way, not realizing God clears your path while on track. Right, which is why chuva also gives you this obligation and this constant idea of what else do I need to do, what else can I shine up about myself, how can I be better in certain things, how can I be more persistent if I'm still, if I'm better at a certain something, how can I be even more so? What is it that needs to happen? What does it take? You got to keep talking to yourself. You got to keep talking to the Most High. What needs to happen? Really, truly, what would need to happen? And if it's something bad, you know to stay away from it. And I mean, it helps to guide you. Tshuva is as easy as hitbodedut, as easy as the spontaneous dialogue with the Most High, the spontaneous speech, the spontaneous prayer. Whether it's a mantra or whether it's what I'm doing right now, which is usually what I do. Talk to God in the very same way I'm talking to you right now. Every single day, several times a day. It's just a continuous thing. Fariada says, persistence is my second name, so I will continue to ask. Very good. It's good to be persistent. And if you think, you know what, once again, you haven't answered me. To what end? Why am I to show my knees? Especially since I did it already. And so you can go over there and screenshot, right, when I did it, and frame it, or use it as wallpaper, or use it as actual wallpaper, not just digital wallpaper. You could post it on 4chan with like a regular swastika and then a Nazi swastika. Yeah, okay. Peace be upon you, Sneezer, says MR3. Ali Sukulov is here. Hello, Ali. Hello. Sneezer says, I don't know a whole lot about Rasta. Obviously, the use of the holy herb, believing in the one God and focus on love. The only difference I know is that the founder of Rastafarians believed himself Jesus resurrected. Well, Rastafari was an Ethiopian Orthodox. He was never a Rastafarian, but those who began to worship him indeed saw him as the second coming. Ramadan, Shalom, Shabbat, Mubarak, tomorrow. Ramadan does not make sense that it's Ramadan. Okay, or at least not the month of Ramadan. Shalom Shabbat, Mubarak tomorrow. Yes, a blessed Shabbat tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday at sundown, or in Jerusalem, it's usually around 40 minutes before sundown. That's been in Jerusalem an ancient custom, if I'm not mistaken, of bringing in the Shabbat 40 minutes early, and in that way, instead of, let's say, 10 minutes early or 20 minutes early, which is usually done. And I sometimes go right up to sunset if I'm busy, if things are busy. And to add from the sanctity of the Sabbath onto the regular days. And in the very same way, people bring out Shabbat, let her out and walk her out later. Right? The stars are already out, but people are still in Shabbos. I've had very late Shabboses, the Netherlands aside. Fragment says, you actually do look like Adrian Brody now that I think about it. Really? So maybe we're talking about a different Adrian Brody. Or maybe I'm simply not seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Sneezer says, no, cheese curds are little round pieces of cheese. But is it a specific cheese? Is it a hard cheese? Is it a soft cheese? Is it a white cheese? Is it a yellow cheese? Which wines would go with curds? Not that I drink it, but it's nice to know. Plants with Dizzy says, nice hair, brother. Check out my plants sometime. Indeed. Hang on a second. Go to channel. I can't share my screen right. Oh yeah, wait, yes I can. I'm on the phone. No, but right now. What's the cat's name? Plants with Dizzy. What's the cat's name? Okay. Let's continue. Let's skip a bit. What is your view on nationalisms? Asks Carmania. I don't know enough about nationalism as a concept in modern day, now. I know that, let's say, if people have sometimes compared Zionism to nationalism, and people have said Zionism is racism, and some people claim nationalism is just as bad. So I can't tell you, because I don't think that we would mean the same thing. Because when I say nationalism, I think Zionism. When you say nationalism, likely you're thinking of something a lot more specific. And so give me the definition if you can, how you see it particularly, and I'll be able to give you an answer, man. Or address it, if not give you an answer. Kurds tend to be squeaky. Squeaky. Jabaz Hussein says, hi, man. Hello to you. Victor Lackey, hello, hi there. Timothy Riley is here again. Wait, were you before? Dat Tvunot is the Ramchal, if I'm not mistaken, right? Rabbeinu Moshe Chaim Lutzato. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Dat Tvunot. I don't think I ever read it right cover to cover, all the way through. Also, Ramchal. Dat Tvunot. I think that's the Ramchal, and I haven't read it. I haven't read the entire thing. But right now, since I'm more in the past decade into the teachings of Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, and the Ramchal is more of the Ari, as far as I know. I don't know if I would read it right now, but no, I haven't. Though I've learned parts of it with rabbis and masters, over the years, in my yeshiva years and before that, but no. What do you think about scrolls? What scrolls do you mean? Do you mean water-bending scrolls? Do you mean Torah scrolls? Do you mean mezuzah scrolls? Do you mean scones and rolls, like have a hybrid, and so it's scrolls? Please, I'm not sure what you mean. Use non-alcoholic perfume. I only recently, in the recent few months, started wearing cologne again, and I love it. It's a nice way after the shower, put that on. It's a nice feeling. Mine probably does have alcohol in it, though I'm not sure what kind. Logos, says Timothy Riley. Well, I'm not sure precisely what that was pertaining to, but yes, that idea of speech creating, right? The creating speech, the redeeming speech, the enlightening speech, that manifestation of a hidden thing, that it's in your brain, and then you mouth it and you actually make it come into being with your vocal cords and with the way that you speak the words in your own particular way. And even though that's limited because your speech and verbal abilities sometimes won't match your mind, whether it's someone who's, let's say, a mute, or somebody who simply can't express themselves verbally, in a way that really conveys a point or makes an argument, or I don't know what. In your mind, it has some clarity, but it's all potential. It hasn't yet come to be. Stop using Indian products. I don't know if I do use any Indian products, be they Native American or from the great Indian continent, not India. The great land of India. It's huge. Judge people through language, not race. I would say judge people through action, not race, personally. Language is, some people are silver-tongued and can make you do anything, eh? Frame it. Yes, indeed, frame it. I will fast tomorrow, sir, that's why. Oh, so, okay, hey, so it's a fast tomorrow, but it's not Ramadan. Ramadan starts with the new moon, and the Ramadan has not started on the first of the 6th month, the first of Elul. But if you're fasting tomorrow, is it Is it a fast that many Muslims fast? Is it a fast that only Sunnis or Shiites or Sufis fast? Is it a fast from sunrise to sundown or from sundown to sundown? And what are you hoping to achieve with the fast? And is it only water? Is it water and food and drink? Is it a fast from not just nourishment or sustenance, but let's say from sex or from certain, give me the ins and outs quickly if you can, briefly. If you can't, then you can't, on the fast tomorrow. And what is the name of the fast? Is it a fast of joy or a fast of mourning? I love a good fast of joy. Yes, I do. Okay. Let's continue. Let's skip down here. Falsehood exterminator with a flag of Palestine, free Palestine. I agree, falsehood exterminator. Free Palestine from Hamas. Free Palestine from terrorism. Free Palestine from religious extremism and bloodshed. Free them from the assholes who use them as human shields. Free them from the tyranny and the oppression of their own would-be government and leaders. And may there be peace between us and the peace-loving, innocent, righteous residents of Gaza and the West Bank. All right. Case says, "Fack Israel." Yeah, fack them. Yes, there are radicals and sociopaths and psychopaths and evildoers in Israel, in the government too, and in the military too. But as an establishment and a state, I have full faith in Israel. I stand behind it 100%, just not about every single thing it does. Israel does plenty of things that are wrong. I fast to fast when needed. Oh, okay, so you are, when you're called to fast, you fast to fast, or you fast to fast? Run. Tell me, run. Why do you fast? Fast of joy or of celebration? When have you been called to fast? Kabuljan says, "I'm sorry, but all of the religions are being used against the humanity." I agree. All religions, as I see religion, has that element. It's all a question of what it is that you do, if you're a religious person, what it is that you put your emphasis and your focus on, and to understand that, seeing as how, if we're talking about, let's say, modern-day organized religion as such, because it's by people for people, it may have a divine origin, but right now it's by people for people. And that's the way it should be. That's an organized religion. It comes with an inescapable, what would be the word? Tragedy. The fact that people will use it against their fellow man and woman. And that they will sometimes be successful. It's the nature of the world that there's a random and element and wicked. Pardon me, I'll be right back. Man. Take it out of the shoe. Okay. Oh. So yes. Okay. Religion is not being used against humanity. In some cases, there are religious people who use the religion against humanity. And they do horrible things in the name of God everywhere.
Oh my goodness. It smells so good.
Eat, my man, eat. MR3T, it has become, he says, it has become impossible for me to defeat Christianity. You have a bowl, man, it's covered.
Where?
Jew, Muslim has to be united to face another crusade.
F4.
I'm not sure, I didn't do it. Ima did it. It's there. Look, it will be logical.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So MR3T says that Jews and Muslims must unite against Christianity. I'm curious, how do you see that going down actually? Especially with the current climate and tension between Jews and Muslims. MR3. Savta, that's grandmother in Hebrew. Hey, I see the chat just jumped, so I see Good Times is here. And Enoch79 is here. And Lethal22GS is here. And Tina Langley is here, or was here.
What?
Wait. What is it?
I'm not going to sleep because tomorrow I don't have school.
Okay, hey, and Rizvi is here saying, "Free Palestine." I agree. Free the people of Gaza from Hamas. Thank you for supporting Israel, Rizvi. Appreciate it. It's good. Okay, let's continue. Oh, here we are. A Gentile, says Ariel Marshall, was renovating the house of a Jew who had recently passed away and happened to stumble upon the mezuzah that had been left on the frame of the door. Taking a closer look, he noticed a small... Let's see, does it continue? A small piece of paper rolled up inside, and due to his inquisitive nature, says Ariel Marshall, he decided to take it apart so he could get a better look at it. Unwrapping the small scroll, he discovered that somebody had written... Okay, so he hasn't written the punchline yet. So I'm going to say that you've been had, right? I'm going to say that it's blank, the scroll is blank, and it says, ha, gotcha, something like that. That's my guess. Okay, let's see. So, somebody had written on it in Hebrew. So he got online and found a Hebrew translation tool. The translated message read as follows: "Help, they trapped me in a mezuzah factory."
What is this?
What? I bought this now for me. Did you just put that on your food? I hope not. Okay. Excuse me?
I put shampoo.
Hey, that's not too good.
Oh.
So take it out. Good time, says...
What do you mean take it out?
I think it's a joke, man.
I'm done.
Yes, Lloyd Divine, I think it's a joke. If not, then... Oh my God, that's terrible. Italy wants Syria. Hamas should be blamed. Religion is not just a flag. Religion is not just a flag. Where in the Torah, asks Ella, is the word Nazir first used? I think it's used in the context of Yosef.
That's dumb.
I think it's first used in the context of Yosef. Hold on, let's take a look. Ella says Genesis 49:26, JPS, and let's see. Yes, Yosef. That's what I remembered. I might be mistaken, but that's what I remember. Okay. Jesus saves, says Timothy Riley. I've heard many Christians and followers of Jesus say the very same thing. I simply disagree, and I say that since he is a dead man, he can't save anybody. You know, you've had people, let's say, who've had apparitions of, or let's say, iburim of tzaddikim, meaning when a tzaddik, a righteous person, sort of infuses part of their spiritual essence, if you will, within you, and you feel a connection to them, and you, well, I've never been through an ibur, I believe, right, where it's as if, like a pregnant woman, you are impregnated with the tzaddik's soul, if you will. And in that sense, I guess you could say that if you feel a closeness to Jesus, I don't feel that, because he is a dead man to me and nothing more right now, then I accept the fact that obviously followers of Jesus say that he saves, because the relationship that Christians have with their Messiah, with their Lord, with their God, right, Jesus, is really, really admirable, right? I say this as somebody who used to be religious. I don't consider myself religious Orthodox these days, but Christians are, and I say that, of course, I'm making a broad generalization. Let's say from the Christians I've met here on this chat in YouTube, okay, and in real life, but not Christianity like as such. People I've been in contact with digitally or face to face. Christians have been lovely and warm. Oi, excuse me, I've told you not to do that. You know this. Kindly. Oh, okay.
I'm stupid.
Why are you skipping over everything us regulars are saying? BMXers asked. I'm not skipping over everything regulars are saying. This is how we're rolling now, which is, at least for the foreseeable future, this is how I'd like it to roll. After reading comment by comment for such a long time, it's not tenable, it's not viable. The chat it stagnates, and so I'm going to be skipping, whether it's regulars, and my apologies, or others. Okay. Wait, what? Jews are so ignorant. The Bible says, "My people perish for lack of wisdom." This guy's an example of that. I agree. There's a lot of wisdom that I don't have, and much knowledge that I don't possess. And I know more, and I know more that there's more that I don't know than that I know. That's for sure. So obviously, I'm very ignorant. Jews, by and large, are not ignorant, but we're all ignorant of certain things. But I think historically, Jews as a group are not ignorant, at least not nowadays. And I definitely am, very much so. I am an ignoramus, proudly. Right? I reclaimed Am Haaretz a few years ago. That translates to just a man of the people, or is also a synonym for ignoramus. What's up, man? You just can't get it right.
I can't get it right.
You just can't get it right. Listen. If you screwed it up beyond redemption, take my portion. It's in the pot. Take my portion. Really?
Huh?
My portion is in the pot.
What pot?
The pot that is either in the what? Did you take the pot?
I took some of the pot. I just niet shot.
Okay. Well.
Look, I shot Orot HaTshuvah.
Pardon me, won't you? Yeah. Yes. What if you want? No, listen. Wait. That sounds like there's a metal in it. Search for a bowl. If you took what's in the pot, search for a bowl. If you took what's in the bowl, search for a pot. With stir fry in it.
Eerst die pogen from the bowl.
Kappa, I need to be
And
here.
I'm eating it.
Kappa, hey,
I
I'm
don't
here.
care, I'm
Oh, okay.
eating it. You can find yourself some home.
Yes, that's right. No. She meant where it appears.
Killed or be killed. Eat or don't eat.
Wait. First of all, it says, Ella asked, where does it appear? And it appears as such over there, I think, for the first time. Not as a halachic nazir, agreed. Second of all, there is the opinion that Yosef was a nazir. Okay. Yeah, go. Yes. Lethal 2do GS. Wait, you know what? Hold on a second. Let's see. Wait, you know what? BMXers, I want to read a few of yours because, everybody is ignoring me. WTF, says BMXers. Okay, hang on. Let's read some of BMXers here. I'm going to go back in the chat a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. BMXers with dreadlocks. Is there a specific point where you would want me to continue? Okay, I'm not sure. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, said someone to Kramer, because he had an idea to make cologne out of the smell of the beach when you come home. That's right. And if you haven't watched Seinfeld, there's a good... I won't spoil it. Okay. LOL, said Fragment, a Pakistani trying to unite Muslims and Jews against Christians. I hear you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, BMXers, man. I'm not saying anything, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not really seeing you in the chat, saying something, trying to get it over. There's, by the grace of the Most High, there are tons of people in the chat. I'm trying to keep up and I'm trying to, it's not that I'm specifically ignoring you or choosing you or singling regulars out. You know how deeply I appreciate anybody who would come here and spend more than 10 seconds here with me live. Giorgio Armani, says James Bong. I wear, assuming you're talking about cologne, or if not clothes, because we were talking about cologne at the time, I wear Tommy. And I enjoy it. Okay. Humanity, says Kabuljan Kabul. Indeed. Sir Jews. Yeah. The halachic part starts right. Bamidbar, Vav, correct. What's wrong with his hair? Yeshua, Isa probably had dreadlocks and a beard himself. How can you be a Nazarite and not be religious? Because I don't consider myself religious because I've stepped away from strict halacha. And so I don't want to claim being religious. For me, being religious would be sticking to stricter halacha and having a rabbi, let's say, that you are in touch with. That's the way that I would view it. Because there are different definitions of religious. I understand that. But I simply don't want to be associated with that part of organized religion because I don't represent it. And so I say I took a step. If I was representing it, I would definitely say, yes, I'm religious, this is what. But no, I say that I'm more of a spiritual man, a Hebrew man. That's all I am. And it's not, again, to shed the responsibility and the yoke and the burden, but it's simply that I'm not conforming to halacha in fullness. And maybe I will, again, at some point, take it on in strictness. Who knows what will happen? Like I said, it will always be a home, and it will always come recommended from me, the path of Orthodox, modern Orthodox Judaism. And like I said, the call that I felt to the Nazariteship was coming when the religious and strict halachic part of me, it wasn't aligning with my life, and it wasn't aligning with the way that I was viewing Torah. Okay. Also, even a very secular person can be a Nazarite. You need to make the vow with your speech, have intent in your mind and in your heart, and abstain from wine, vinegar, anything grape-related, and raisins, and not cut your hair. And if it's a Numbers Nazariteship and not a Samson Nazariteship, to abstain from dead bodies, tumat mit, defiling of a corpse. And if you're a Samson Nazarite, those are the two, and both of them are for life, and that's how you can be a Nazarite and not be religious. Now, I am a sinning Nazarite. I am a Nazir Chote. That's for sure, because I missed the mark on a lot of things. I don't presume to say that I've already gotten as far as I can with strict halacha, that now I can, just set it aside. It's like, no. It was a calling that I felt for a very long time. And I took the time, as far as I can, to give it great thought and due caution, and to ask myself that very question of, am I taking an easy way out? Is this the evil inclination? Is this the adversary saying, oh, no, do this, be holier, and then just chuck the rest? And no, it was very, yes. Let's continue. Good Times TV says, we're going to turn Gaza into a theme park. It's going to be called Gaza Land. That's dark. I don't want it to be a theme park. I want it to be a place that's a paradise in the Middle East, where there's peace and love and positivity, and people can chill at the beach. That's what I want. Hey, look, a penny behind you. Alexander, you know that I, as a member of the Kingdom of Judah, cannot resist a penny. Unfortunately, I don't think it would be a penny, because this is Israel, and I don't have American currency. But a penny is a penny, right? $5 is $5. In that very same way, a penny is a penny. I will indulge you and look behind me. You lie, Alexander. You lie. However, speaking from a multiverse point of view, the penny is indeed there, not occupying this particular space and time. Okay. Good Times says, you're still my brother, and I love you, and I would protect your soul with my life. Just so you see my behavior with him, you should understand why we go so hard for our hostages. Yes, Am Yisrael cleaves to life. Some people will say that's ironic. I'm not being cynical. With sometimes even to their detriment. We care about the living. We honestly do. Hey, Nirvana suck. Nirvana does not suck. I'll tell you. Was it 2 days ago? I listened to Nevermind and In Utero, In Utero and then Nevermind. I don't think I ever heard the entirety of both of those albums. The only album that I listened to all the way through was their Unplugged. Pardon me. And I loved the singles, and I loved what I'd heard, and in different. Well, but I hadn't listened to the two albums, so I listened to them back to back. And I love a few of their songs. Most of it, I didn't connect with musically. Lyrically, that's a different story. Musically, I didn't connect to. Some of them I really connected to, and the ones that I didn't, it was almost, it was kind of, okay. All right. Let's continue. Correct. It's important to be truthful with oneself and not lie. Yes, I am a sinner, Nazarite. There is a lot to that, because I don't turn a blind eye to the fact that I left strict halacha behind, and maybe it's to my detriment, but it's a risk I have to take. And my kids, you know what? I'm not raising them with strict halacha. It will always be there. It will come highly recommended from me. I'll tell them it's how I lived for the first 20 odd years of my life, and it helps to shape me for better or worse. It helped to shape me and my views. And I would recommend anybody of the Hebrew people to give it a shot, to keep halacha, to be orthodox and rabbinic, and walk that path. It literally means to walk. Halacha means walking or to walk. It leads you back to this ancient path because it goes down to the minor details. And in the details, there is the devil, but in the details, there is also the beauty. And to immerse yourself in that type of life where Torah and prayer and and keeping the mitzvahs in their right time and place, being mindful, it surrounds you. Mitzvahs are constantly surround you, if only with the tzitzis, the tassels, the fringes that you're wearing. And, well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's important to be truthful with oneself, and I honestly do try to be, and exactly because of that, that I will maybe, as far as you're concerned, it increases the chances of me going back to keeping strict halacha. And I would say it increases the chances of me going back to being who I'm really supposed to be. And if that ends up being somebody who keeps strict halacha again, I will welcome it with open arms. I did it, and it's a very okay. So this is the third person who is saying you are very similar to Adrian Brody. Yasmin says, "Hi, Yasmin." And what's the deal? Did something happen with Adrian Brody this evening? Can you tell me about what's going on? I don't know the man. Okay. Precisely, thank you.
Is it the strong?
I have no idea, man. Okay, let's continue. Are Ashkenazi Jews actually descendants of ancient Jews? It's twofold. A, yes. B, because of converts, it's mixed. There's a lot of mixing going on because of conversion. So, as far as I'm concerned, they are actually, because what are they? They're not Ashkenazis. They are Ashkenazi Jews of the kingdom of Judah. So, definitely I would say, whether actually through the lineage or whether through conversion, yes, descendants of the ancient Jews indeed. That's what I think. All Jews are, except converts. Right, that's what I'm saying. And even if they are converts, they take on that covenant. They may not be descended in the what's it called? Losing my English here. Anyway, it might not be connected from generation to generation in the same way, but you hold on to that and okay, let's see. BMXers says, if you're religious or believe in God, then you're saying what he created looks like hell. What do you mean? It's in the eye of the beholder and the experiencer, is it not? Good Time says, those are not my family. You're saying the whole world is family. My family is the children of Jacob. My family is Judah that never lost their heritage ever since the beginning of time. That's my family. Yes, mine too. I'm thinking on a broader scale. I'm thinking about Eden, the place where it's our origin, and back where we're headed, towards that Shabbos that never happened, that hasn't happened yet. And so I see that the humanity aspect of Eden, that humanity aspect of it, right? Before Jacob was created, let's say, before the children came about as brothers and as tribes, before we were a nation, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the tribes, and Jews, they hold to that Edenic tradition, and that's why I see the connection, the very clear connection to that Edenic humanity, where the tribes didn't exist, though potentially they did. So when I say the whole world is family, eventually, right now, definitely not. Or if we're family, then I don't know what to say. But we are united, we are all human beings. That means something, right? United in that sense, as created in the image of God. right? You can talk about different ends and different ways and different means and different faith and cultures, religions, tongues, languages, geographical locations, climates, whatever, right? But we are all human beings. And in that, there is a unity about us. MR3T says, well, I think if you do online classes by 4 times speed, yes, you can become faster. I invented 3,173. Mr. T, was that it? All right. Good Times TV says, I'm a Kohen, a priest. God said for us never to marry converts. So I know now, I look in the mirror, and I know who my family is. I know that we never had any other genealogy in my genes. Yes? There's a type of... Wait a minute. I'm trying to recall. A priest cannot marry a Giobet? I know that priests can't marry certain women, male priests are not allowed to marry certain priestesses or daughter of a priest. Okay, I'm not... Hey, can you give me, please, the source? I don't recall offhand. You know, I know that of the high priest, it says, V'hu isha bivtulei yikach, right? Me'amav. No, you know what? It says me'amav. Yes, it says me'amav with the priest as well. Makes sense. Okay, that's where it is. Cool. Sababa. I'm loving pasta with cheese in Jerusalem. I'm having pasta with cheese in Jerusalem. That's nice, Lloyd Divine. Wait, you're actually in Jerusalem now? I'd love to meet up. Let me know.
Today?
Not
You're gonna
today.
leave
Man.
us?
Not today, man.
Jerk.
What, me?
Yes.
Hey, Lloyd Divine. You want me to do a quick exit on this stream and we go hang out in some dodgy place and play some pool? You'll have to supply the dodgy, the location of the dodgy place. The dodgy location of the dodgy place. Good Time says, some scumbag that comes from the genealogy of someone else can never tell me who to love. I know my people. You guys can try to fool the world. In these times, I know the truth, says Good Times TV. There's definitely a kinship with our tribes, and so it's always been. You have a tribal affiliation. You're, 12 tribes of one people. Even if it's split into 2 kingdoms, there's still a lot of, well, I would say love, right? From every Jew to every Jew, from every person of Israel to other person of Israel. It's not across the board absolute. Like I said, evil people exist, evil doings exist, evil circumstances exist. But yes, there's a lot of love between the Jews when it comes down to it, but sometimes we just can't stop fighting. Gilo, my friend, I grew up in Gilo. I was in Gilo from 2 years old to 11 years old. I had my childhood in Gilo Hey, and it was lovely. It was a very unique neighborhood in Yerushalayim, which was a kind of pilot that was being conducted there, architecturally speaking, or planning, right, planning-wise. They designed, and I've mentioned this in a previous live stream, they designed part of Gilo Hey, Gilo 5, the neighborhood, the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth area of Gilo. They designed it, one of the neighborhoods, in such a way where you had the parking lot and roads around the neighborhood, and the neighborhood itself, the residencies, the parks, the playgrounds, was a relatively small religious community, and pretty much, it was wonderful. I had a great childhood there. It was really good. I love the fact that I can just leave my house and go run around it, not have to worry about roads or cars crossing the street. Just boom, just that you're out, you're doing it. I loved that. So yeah, I know Gilo. I know that part of Gilo anyway. And there is a Nazarite Rabbi Uri Einhorn who lives in Gilo, who wrote the book Nezirut Bazman Hazeh. And it's a lovely book. He published it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, recently. And I need to get in touch with him. I want to get in touch with him. I want to sit and speak with him. But yeah, he's in Gilo. And in Gilo, there's also Rabbi Mirachlin, right? Rabbi Pinchas Daniel HaKohen Rachlin, a fellow priest If I'm not mistaken, he is in Gilo as well.
I know. Okay, no, I know sweeter.
Ariel says, oh, I'm sorry. Good Time says, I love my Ethiopian brothers and sisters and I consider them the only ones, but they're mixed race from long ago. I consider them 100% Jewish, but they know what Kushi means also because they get mad. They get mad. Wait, let's go. He continues. Where does he continue? They get mad when they hear it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. They get mad when they hear it. Yeah, it's taken on kind of a negative connotation. It also depends on if you say kushi or kushi. It depends on the context a lot of the times. BMXers, would you eat a Rasta pasta? If a Rastafarian made me pasta, definitely, just no eggs, right? No eggs. I know it makes the pasta better, but I don't eat eggs. Friendly fire, says Timothy Riley. Where, what? No, says Blood Nose. Adrian Brody's eyes are closer together, which means he's crazy. Okay, let's see if I can get my eyes closer together. No, I don't know if I can do that. Good time, says Ariel Marshall. Even if you can tell from a person's appearance that they are related to you, this is not in itself evidence of descendancy from any Jew from Scripture, not that I doubt that we are family. Good time says, not so full of hate. You get mad because the truth hurts. For speaking truth is hate in your eyes. So speaking truth is hate in your eyes because you want me to lie just for kindness. Wait, I'm sorry. Are you talking to Sneezer? Oh, yeah, okay. You're talking to Sneezer then. So Sneezer and Good Times are having a conversation here in the chat. An ongoing conversation in the chat for the past few days, actually. Good times ever since you've come on the stream. And by the way, thank you all of you here. It's been almost an hour, so I'll stop for a moment for a word from our sponsor. Hello, hi, it's me. I thank you, each and every one of you. Every like, every sub, every view, every comment, every troll, every, horrified swipe, whatever it is. I love it that we're spending time here. We're talking, we're shooting the breeze. We are sometimes discussing silly things, and sometimes higher things. And sometimes, and it's a lot of fun, all the time. All right, let's continue. And those who are lurking, come on, speak up. Let me know how you're at. How's your day going? What are you doing? Where are you in the world? What time is it? Is life going well? Where do I find you, digitally speaking, on this Thursday at the end of a work week here in Israel? For some, it's tomorrow, I know. Okay. Mashallah says news. I was born Muslim. My parents was born Muslim. Indeed. Erev Tov. News 2626. Caleb says, Isaiah, Yeshayahu. What about Isaiah? Good Time says, I can lie and tell you all the biggest fairy tales like your New Testament to you, and told you fairy tales. But Good Time says, I am here to tell you the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. You're on the shit end. Drink water in 6 phases, says Mr. 3T. What do you mean, Mr. 3T?
Mr. Freaky?
Mr. 3T. MR3T. Indeed. Is this Matisyahu, says H Hill 35. Negative, I am not Matisyahu. I enjoyed his earlier work, and then I kind of tuned out, and not in a bad way. I'm sure he's doing a lot of good things. I was away, says Jan Kabul. Well, it's good to have you back, man. Good to have you back. Ariel says Bangladeshis are some of the best cooks. Possibly my favorite food. Szechuan is amazing also. Now, Szechuan is Chinese, correct? Is it a province? A sauce? I had a few. What? Nice. Okay. Lebriut, eat it in good health. Okay, let's continue here. He says, let all the Ayatollahs, rabbis, imams, pandits, and pope, and all the righteous, religious people sit together and debate, and let the rest of humanity in peace. That's a fine thought. If we could all get together and speak, that would already, in and of itself, be a great breakthrough and a wonderful thing. I like Matisyahu, says Ella. Wash that mess, says James Coburn. I do, actually. I wash it, I try to keep it clean, but I just simply don't separate, and I don't comb or brush, that's all. Occasionally I do separate, but things have congoed up over the years, much to the dismay of my woman. I let her down. Marcy Delaware says, why is Jesus called the Son of God but not God? I'm not a follower of Jesus, so I have no idea why those who follow him call him this and not that. If you want me to venture a guess as a Hebrew man, a Jewish man, I'd venture a guess, but I have no idea. I don't follow Jesus. As far as I'm concerned, he is dead. Okay, I always had a dream to beat Mr. Triple R, who was #1 Free Fire YouTuber. By Free Fire? What do you mean by Free Fire? What is Free Fire? Okay. Fragment says, do you genuinely think a peoples that claim to have received direct instructions from God on how to enslave only people from other countries can claim to one day in heaven treat everyone as family? Yes, definitely, because I take into consideration the nature of the time and place of and culture, the atmosphere, the very atmosphere in which the Torah was given, and to whom it was given, why it was given. I take all of that into account. The Torah is a Torah of this world. We, here, living, breathing, walking, talking, a beating heart, we can do things in this world. Not the angels, not those who have died, not those who are not yet born, us, the living. We have the most influence from the lowest place to get to the highest, from kingdom to crown. And in that sense, those direct instructions which tell you how to enslave, for me, say, and maybe it's rose-colored glasses, obviously. It says this, the Torah was given to a people living in a world of good and evil, of knowledge of good and evil, who have good and evil in themselves, to the degree that one does. The Torah should reflect this because it's a Torah for people. It also says the eyes of God. It says af, right, and the nose. It says a hand and a finger. And these are all anthropomorphizations, if that's the way to say it, of God. Revelations of God that we attribute and associate with certain ideas, concepts, body parts, anatomy, all throughout the Torah, all throughout Kabbalah. And so, on the one hand, you have that, and on the other hand, you have people are slaves. To this day, the slave trade, right? England did a lot to bring it down, and others as well, obviously. But the slave trade, as such, is alive and well in different places in the world. It has not yet been eradicated. And it was very prevalent at the time of the giving of the Torah. And so, it's said in the Torah, a Hebrew man, or a Hebrew servant or handmaiden, a slave or handmaid, 6 years and then set them free. And for the male, maybe up to the Jubilee. Nothing more than that. And you can enslave multi-generationally people from other countries. You can. Okay. Should you? That's not what it says. It says if you're going to do it this way for the Hebrew and this way for the foreigner. That's what the Torah says. I don't think the Torah endorses it in a way of slavery is cool. A slave in the Hebrew faith, a Hebrew slave, he can abstain from all the mitzvahs because he took on a human master. And he doesn't have to perform the mitzvahs. He can still be a Nazarite, by the way, but he doesn't have to perform the mitzvahs. So I genuinely think that a people that claim to have received direct instructions on how to enslave certain people and give other freedoms to slaves, from their people, I can claim to one day in heaven treat everyone as family because in Eden, not heaven, Eden, that's only phase 1. There's after we eat of, the fruit of the tree of life. That's phase 2. So Eden, we arrive at the gates of Eden, right? We arrive at the path of the tree of life, and the guards become, and the guardians become guides, and we grab that flaming sword and we say, "Let's do this." At that point, yes, I believe we will be back in our shared humanity, very simply, very plainly, very purely, and that notwithstanding, the Torah has a lot of evil things and a lot of good things because we are good and evil. And that's why I make a conscious decision to cherry pick. I pick and choose everything and I make no mistake. And I make an effort, a conscious effort to focus on the positives in the Torah, to focus on the things there that I can learn from on what not to do. I don't want to enslave someone. I don't want to be anyone's slave. I believe that freedom is to be a slave to Adonai. Don't take on a human master, and don't seek to dominate another and take from him his freedom. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. But because the Torah was given in a certain time and place, and that's part of why oral traditions were also kept up. It could very well be that if the oral traditions were kept up, and we didn't have to write them down, and they remained oral for this entirety of human history in the last 2,000 years, and Jewish history, Orthodox, rabbinic history, it could very well be that the attitude towards slavery would be halachically very different. And, or not, if not halachically, then it would be, first, I think it would be. And second of all, I think that, let's say, as far as the, the conceptual part of it, the philosophy of it, of why would the Torah say that and what does it mean in my life here? Okay, let's continue. Free Palestine from apartheid. I agree. Where there is apartheid, there shouldn't be. And we should unite. Lloyd Divine says, did you know it is written twice Isha Kushit in the verse to refer to Tzipora and the Queen of Kush? Isha Kushit lakach ki Isha Kushit lakach. Al ha'isha Kushit asher lakach ki Isha Kushit lakach. Oh, I see. That's nice. So it's that correspondence between Moshe and Shlomo as kings, if you will. That's nice. I like that. I wonder where it's written. Marcy says, the oldest manuscript of Torah is from centuries after Moses. Of course, it can't all be authentic. If you base your salvation on it 100%, quite funny. I base my salvation... No. Let me... First of all, I stick to it. I try to cling to it. But 100%, no. My 100%, my salvation is the direct and immediate, spontaneous dialogue and prayer with the Most High God. Torah is there to light the way. Torah is there to orient me. Torah is there to guide me. Torah is there to have me be more me than I can be, and to show me how to get that done. So it doesn't matter if the entire Torah is all a fairy tale. It doesn't matter if it's centuries after Moses. I don't care about the origin. Here I have it, here and now. What wisdom do I take from it? What things do I leave behind? What do I attribute significance to? What hills do I die on? Where do I stick a flag in the ground? What are the fundamentals, the pillars of how I see myself as somebody who seeks to keep Torah? I can't keep all 613 commandments, technically. I can keep certain things that are equivalent to 613 commandments, and I can strive to keep commandments when I can and then when they present themselves and to make themselves available for me. And that's why I don't consider myself halachically orthodox or religious. And if you think it's quite funny to base your salvation on a book, by all means, it's really, really, really funny. Or on a scroll. I agree, there's something quite humorous. Somebody wrote something and you base your life on it. It's like, oh. However, I attribute great significance to its teachings, and I've had my fair share of questions and answers. And I believe that despite the fact that Torah may have been tweaked a little bit, it remains a great wealth and wellspring of knowledge, and where I can see how it says in the external teachings, "Istakel be'oraita ubara alma." He looked at the Torah and created the world. But definitely, Marcy, you have a very good point. By all means, it's indeed funny. Why, let's laugh at my 100% salvation and the Torah. Just a few seconds here, Olivia. I'm so stupid. Okay, let's go. Lloyd Divine says, Hebrew Nazarite, people don't understand. When they say slaves, they don't know slaves have rights, and their owners have duties to them, and it's a nice place to be, according to Torah law. It perhaps is nice as far as slavery goes, but it's not something that's desired. Definitely not desired. And sometimes because of great reluctance and lack of any other possibility, does one sell himself to slavery, the courts sentence him to be a slave, or somebody gives away his daughter to be a slave. All of these exist in the Torah. And I choose to see it through my own cherry-picking, rose-tinted glasses, my Yonatan frames, and I choose to say, the Torah never says you must. The Torah says if you're going to do it, here's how to do it. In the very same way that it says of the Nazarite ship, if a person, a man or woman of the Hebrew people, right, of the people of Israel, of the children of Israel, want to be a Nazarite, here's how you do it. It doesn't say you ought to be. It doesn't say you must. It's not a commandment. It's simply, here are the commandments for those who choose it. Unlike priesthood, which you're born into. And so, if we take that and we say slavery, here's how to do it as far as your brother or sister are concerned, here's how to do it as far as the foreigner is concerned. Is it ideal? No. Does it still consider dominating, right, and having mastership over someone else or whatever? Yeah. They have rights. Yes, they do. They are set free, and so on, right? The different laws of the Hebrew, the Hebrew slave or handmaid. And I don't see it as a nice place to be. I would say it depends on who you are a servant or a slave for or to. Okay. Mali says, what do you believe? I believe that we all have the potential to be better and that we should act in such a way that that would come about in the best and possible way. Why I believe we should all be a blessing to ourselves and to those around us, and that we should make the time and devote the resources and energy and take due caution to consider what that actually means and to take pains to implement it in your life. In fact, that's what I mean. And that's what I believe. Okay, Timothy says, as man we are an aleph, God writing on man's scroll of life. Could you elaborate on that? I'm not sure I'm exactly getting what you're talking about. Ariel says, yes, Sichuan is a Chinese province near Tibet. Mostly awesome nomadic tribes in the countryside there. Beautiful place, and not only the best cooks, but my favorite part of China. Voila, that's nice. Ever read the Quran? Nijzi says, no, I have not. I'm not going to touch the Quran, at least at this time, though I'm not ruling it out in the future. And that's it. So no, I have not. Google user. Hi, Google user. How you doing? Surah al-Baqarah, speaking of the Quran, Surah al-Baqarah. And when it is said to them, do not cause corruption on the earth, they say, we are but reformers. Unquestionably, it is they who are the corrupters, but they perceive it not. Oh, I agree. I personally, as a person, am definitely corrupt or corruptible, and I'm working on not being corrupt and becoming less corruptible. Definitely. Now, as for people who say they are one thing but are the other, this is a part of human nature. And to tar an entire people with that brush, I'm not a fan of doing that, though people do it on, with many texts where they say, oh, the foreigners are like this, the other nations are like this, or the goyim are like this, the umot are like this. I'm more of a face-to-face, person-to-person, case-by-case basis type of man. Good Time says, you guys are the descendants of night. Why were you slaves? Because God already said, Genesis chapter 9, verse 21, that you will be slaves for eternity because your forefather was very ignorant. Right, so you're speaking of the people of Ham, and you've been mentioning it recently. And I said, I said what I said earlier in the previous live stream on that. Descendants of night. I'm sure that might be a typo. Case says he looks like homeless. Well, it might be, but I have a very lovely home, and I've had a very lovely home for many years, thank God. By the grace of God. Because sometimes, Lord knows, I don't deserve it, but I get so much good. I live so well. It is such a blessing. And I deeply appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. I give gratitude and thanks and praise to the Most High Adonai. And as for looking homeless, then let it be a filter. As far as I'm concerned, let it be a filter. Okay. Good Time says, just like how they are today and Arab are the Jewish people cousins, that's why we look similar, right? Ishmael and Yaakov. Indian people could be related to us also. I won't discuss them. Ethiopians look like they're mixed. Okay. Good evening, HN, says Rusty. Hope all is well with you. Hello, hello. Just BOB says, oh, you brushed past my comment this time. Rusty says, the Good Times, you are always here trying to argue. Why? LOL. Well, not to paraphrase things he's said, he's he does not respect idol worship, and he seeks to tell idol worshippers the truth. And he seeks to bring, let's say, people who are of the Hebrew tribes back to halacha. I think that's what I've seen in the chat. Okay, wait. They say, wait, let's say, who was it? It was, do you believe Musa was a prophet? Yes, I believe Nebi Musa was a prophet. He was the father of all prophets. He was the physical corresponding element, the personification of a very high divine emanation and attribute. He was the great bridge, and he was a once in creation, once in all the entirety of the world, Moshe was. That's why he's the father of prophets. And his revelation was unique among human beings. And that's why he was the one who could literally, not literally, he was the one who could physically bring down the tablets. And literally bring down the stone tablets. And the second tablets he himself fashioned, but the first ones he received, that kicks ass. Of course, they were smashed at the foot of the mountain. So I believe Moshe was a prophet. Traditionally, I am of his people, of Levi, and there is kinship there. And I believe since he is the father of prophets, I wish to connect with him on a deep level, and I wish to also, in time, God willing, attain the spirit of prophecy through Moshe, let's say. He is the higher prophecy, and all other prophets have a lower form of prophecy. But just B.O.B., what did you say? I don't see your name. Scrolling up, scrolling up. He looks like he's about to go to hell. Yes, indeed, I am, because, the Hebrews have no hell. Here. I'm here so you know what that means, bro. You want me to shout out another pedophile? Are these people dead or alive, the people who you want me to shout out to? Philip Schofield or Schofield? If you were a pedophile, I hope you're getting the help you need and you're able to. And if you're a pederast, I hope you rot in jail. Okay. Or, if you were in jail and you weren't killed and you're out, you've paid your debt to society, try and get some help. All right. Philip Schofield isn't even that bad. He's a talk show guy. Search him up. Oh, okay. Jimmy Savile was way worse, but I'm not asking to shout out. And once again, B.O.B., what is the end game? What is your purpose, as far as you're concerned, in having me shout out to these individuals? And once again, if you are going to make a compilation of me shouting out to these individuals, well, first of all, that's quite a waste of time. I salute you. Second of all, Lloyd Devine says, Hebrew Nazarite, the tablets were in fact cubes. That's a lovely way to think about it. I love that. That is wonderful. That corresponds with so many things. Thank you for that. I will definitely want to look into that. If what's going through my brain right now, or my mind, if what's happening in my mind's eye, it would make perfect sense that the tablets were cubed. Okay, let's continue. Lloyd Devine, did you come to that? Where did you read that? It makes so much sense to me, just as you dropped it now. Okay. Good Time says, do you think someone like that's gonna be my people? Someone that picked up drugs to sell to their own brothers, kills their own brothers every day, every single day of their life. Most ignorant behavior. Wait, I'm sorry, are you still talking to Sneezer? Yes, you're talking to Sneezer still. I don't understand quite what that sentence, but it maybe has to do with what you were talking about before. So I'm going to just hop back out into the chat here. Rusty says, Philip Schofield or Schofield is a UK TV presenter who was married, came out as gay, and had a relationship with a much younger guy. Okay. Good, some people pull. What kind of a TV presenter is he? What type of show does he? Is it comedy? Is it current events? Is it a politics thing? What's going on? Good Time says, you guys don't know how to clean up your own neighborhood. Oh, okay, so you're talking about Ham, about the descendants of Ham. But I'm curious, Good Times, how can you make such a broad generalization? I'm wondering if you actually do see it, that which you speak of. Or is it simply you extrapolating, if you will, from the Torah? I'm curious. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm curious at how you can say you people, just like boom, like that. That's you people. It seems, and you say that it's truth and that you don't sugarcoat. By all means, do that. It's a good way to go about it. I'm wondering, well, I mean, are you speaking from experience, do you think, or more from, let's say, education, outside influence, or I'm wondering. The truth hurts, says Good Times. Only the truth hurts. If it wasn't true, it should never hurt. If it wasn't true, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt you guys, what I'm saying, but you know that what I'm saying is striking a nerve of someone because it's the truth. Can someone only disagree with you if what you're saying is truth, according to you? Is it the fact that people are willing to debate you on this Good Times TV that says, I hit a nerve, therefore they don't have the truth and I do? I'm curious where you see the connection there. Timothy Riley says, I heard they was jewels with Paleo-Hebrew letters. They projected sayings and symbols through light and reflection. Are you talking about the breastplate, about the choshen, or are you talking about something else? Good Times TV says, listen, the biggest problem to the Jewish community in history were Ashkenazi Jewish people, and all the other converts were the biggest problem. Ashkenaz started the problems. I'm a Mizrahi Jew as real as it gets. I'm curious, where do you see Ashkenazi people starting the problem? With the Enlightenment and with emancipation and with being like a breeding ground for secular Zionism, I mean modern day Zionism? How do you see it? Or do you see it as kind of going astray from the path of halacha with the Ashkenazi halachic lore, teachings, right, and rulers? Where do you see the problems? Because, exile is exile. We were both living on foreign lands, not in the land of our forefathers. And so problems are bound to occur and happen and manifest and sometimes remain, and traditions and and customs. Where do you see it as an actual problem? I'm curious. Okay, let's see. Mali says, what do you think of innocent children being killed? I think that it's a tragedy and that innocent children should not be killed, and Hamas needs to stop using them as human shields, and that way the IDF will not need to kill them, because Hamas is literally using schools and mosques and hospitals and homes to get these people killed, because every innocent human life that is taken away by either by Hamas or by the IDF, that is a win for the Hamas leadership, that is a win for the Hamas war, and that's awful. Really, really awful. War is real hell for both sides, for all theaters. Rusty says, hey Jen, he did in the past, or does, morning television, just doing the news and current affairs and guest stars to interview. Oh, so now, how early? Are we talking about you're getting up at 6 and you're getting ready for work and it's something for you to have in the background? Or are we talking more the kids are at school, the dog has been walked, or baby's asleep, whatever, after the morning, and now you can chill in the mid-morning and, and do that. When was it? Or is it? Good Time says, there is righteous Ashkenazi people, obviously, throughout time, and I consider them my people, but they cause all the problems in the world in our community. I'm curious, since Hasidut started in Europe, what do you think about Hasidism as like a what would it be? Right, a branching out from Ashkenazi, Litvish Judaism. Let's continue. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification. Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate it. Obviously, I appreciate every sub, every like, every hit of that bell, every troll, every insult, every snide comment, every half-assed, wise-assed joke. I do love it. Miley says, what do you think about the killing of innocent babies and women? I think that goes with what I said before. It's a travesty, and Hamas should stop using them as human shields. And it is only due to Hamas that these human casualties are happening to the degree that they're happening, these innocent lives being taken. Because for every innocent life and every combatant's life, it's a win for Hamas, it's fuel for the propaganda machine, and it's one more for the cause of making our leaders richer and perpetrating the myth of the Palestinian refugee and just keeping the people down while not giving them the money that is being transferred to them by humanitarian aid people and foreign aid. And no, let's not think of the people. Let's think of how we line our pockets, how we build terror tunnels, how we acquire weapons. Let's think of that. Let's do that. That's a good idea, said Hamas. A good idea. Okay. Urim Purim. No, it's Urim and Tumim. Urim and Tumim, Timothy Riley. Urim from Or, Tumim from truth or wholeness, Tam, Emet. And there's a difference of opinion on what exactly was the Urim V'Tumim. Some say that the Urim V'Tumim was another name for the Choshen, if I'm not mistaken, or it's another name for a scroll that was placed inside of it, and what was written on it. There's a difference of opinion. Erev Rav, says Good Time TV. You think Ashkenazi people are Erev Rav, or that we, because of converts, can be considered Erev Rav? I'm curious. Just B.O.B. Rusty, are you from the UK? Good Time says, who started Reform Judaism? Ashkenazi people. Who took the Yemeni to Israel and made them liberal? Ashkenazi people. Okay, and you consider those problems. Okay, I hear you, because it's veering off the path. And wait, what about the Yemeni? I can understand kind of Reform Judaism and your gripe with it from Ashkenaz, but what does Yemeni people have to do with that? Make them liberal? What do you mean liberal? Do you mean politically liberal? How do you mean it? I honestly don't know. Are you a Zionist? Yes, Molly, I am a biblical Zionist and I'm a modern day Zionist. Let's put it that way. But I believe that we should live in peace with our cousins surrounding us and within us. Loi Divine Paleo-Hebrew is called in the Talmud Ivrit. It was another type of writing used for unholy purposes until Daniel and Ezra. Right, it's not Ktav Ashurit, if I'm not mistaken. Right, it's where the Aleph is the ox. Okay. Just B.O.B. says, I can tell, haha, you should have been in the lives the night before was funny. What? Who should have been in the lives before? You talking to me or someone else? Okay. Let's continue. Where was it? It just jumped. Oh. Good times. Brother, I love you very much. I'm not even speaking about you. I think you guys are very naive. Jonah, I am sorry, but I wish you the best. You are always one-sided. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. Are you talking to me, first of all? Are you talking about the war? Are you talking about... What are you talking about here? She cheated multiple times? Run? What happened? Who cheated? Who cheated multiple times? I don't think that's too good. Caused all the problems, he says, Good Times, and I love them because I know there's righteous ones in there. I know there's righteous in there, and I consider them my blood, but the problem starts from them. The problem, I wouldn't say the problem, certain issues, definitely. But I'm curious, since I mentioned it, do you have also an issue with how halachic scholars of Ashkenaz rule? I'm curious. Do you see the more proper halacha to be Eidot HaMizrach, to be the eastern parts, the eastern groups? HN, do the Herbert voice for Rusty. Didn't I do that yesterday? I already did the Herbert voice. I already did that. Rusty says, Bob, I try to be here, but I have a few channels that come live, which I moderate on. Oh, that's nice. Like what, Rusty? I'm curious. Ashkenazi said she wanted poly-open relationships, said Run. Oh, well, I don't think that has anything to do with Ashkenazi, Sfaradi, Mizrahi, Teimani. I don't think it has anything to do with it, personally. The original Jewish people are Middle Eastern Jewish people. What you see today, that's the original Jewish people. They spread out once they got exiled, but they never mixed with the Gentiles. Right, and they were, right, the Mizrahi Jews and so on were a lot more close-knit, as far as I know, than the Ashkenazi people, especially, right, with emancipation and the Enlightenment and everything that followed. So even if initially Ashkenazi Jewry, there weren't many issues, right, in the shtetls and in the towns, but in the course of Jewish history, yes, I think there were problems which started to arise. And I think, yes, I agree, but there's a lot of good to the Ashkenazi way, Ashkenazi people. there's a great potential there, like with any, to be the image of God in the Hebrew faith, to be a good. Hey, Pinky Winky, you want to say hello? You want to come on me? You want some attention? She's wagging her tail, and I'm like, come on. No? Okay. Okay, I would argue, says Ariel Marshall, that Moses started the reform movement if you believe in the way he is presented in the Torah narrative. A mask-wearing killer. Now, the thing with me is that Moses represents a real once-in-creation sort of thing. And we are supposed to learn from him, but I'm curious, how did he start the reform movement? Are you talking about the idea of tikkun olam, which I hear is prevalent in Reform Judaism? Are you talking about going against halacha, strict orthodox, let's say, rabbinic halacha, if you will? In what way did Moses start the reform movement? It was certainly a reformation, because he was the lawgiver, and then it became law. Whereas before they had not yet received the Torah. It was a fundamental shift. And Hayom Adonai ha'emircha lo le'am. God now said, you are my people, and you said, you are my God. HN is a good guy, says just B.O.B. I don't mean no hate when I come on, I just get a laugh. HN is a funny guy, he should be a comedian. Like I said, I'd like to do stand-up at some point. But, and comedy, I'm a fan of comedy, I'm a fan of humor as such. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's a trait that I hope I can amplify and increase and in measure and know the right time and place. A well-placed, witty pun or gag or comedic phrase can do a lot to lighten the load of life and make lighter a situation or so I'm a big fan of comedy. The Island Gardener says, what a psycho, LOL. Yes, that's right. I am a psycho. Assuming you're talking about me. And if not, just know. I'm a psycho, man. Yeah. Yes. I have my psychopathic tendencies. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sinning at all. The tablets were 6 by 6 by 6 tfachim. Baba Batra. 6 by 6 by 6. So a tefach is what? Something like 30 centimeters? No. A tefach is like a fist, so let's say 10 centimeters. Okay, cool. You ever play Fortnite? It's pretty fun, says Queen of Mud. No, but I've watched my kids play for many months now. Ariel says, or Adam, perhaps, by drawing his own interpretation of his relationship with God. Just B.O.B. Sneezer says, just B.O.B., you could get a similar laugh with a much less offensive joke. BMXer says to Sneezer, how would you know if they believe Muhammad is the last prophet or not? I'm curious. Well, okay, that's something going on between them. Let's continue. Colonizers should stop begging. Can you refer Island Gardeners to specific colonizers and what they are begging for? I'm curious. I don't really quite know what you're saying here. Okay, let's skip a little bit. Ella says, I'm sorry. Vash, the Stampede, says, hello, my weed friend. Hello, Vash. Good to see you, man. KJB, hello. Good to see you. Good Times TV making sure bad times roll for everyone else. Ay. So, Mo Kauba, something was retracted. Please, I wanna know it. I think Timothy Riley said, I think Moses had an overabundance of empathy, and fear of the Lord came upon him after he killed and ran away. What, in the sense of I can't believe what I've just done and he had to run away? Could be. I mean, in the Torah it says that Paul wanted to kill him. Then he's a reformed Jew. Who's a reformed Jew? What? Aleph still means ox. Yes, it means it, but the actual drawing of it. It makes a big difference how you draw the Aleph in the sense of, let's say, the Kabbalistic origin of the letters, if you will, their origin in creation before they became letters. Right, in the way that they are. You're just speaking the things, says Run, but not. Is that the complete sentence? Learn from all things in Hebrew, and you're just, I'm not sure. Are you talking to me, Run? Are you talking to someone else in the chat? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Lloyd says to Ella, the Hebrew letters are not from common acceptance. They are imposed from heaven. The Hebrew alphabet was created before the world. And the shape of the letters have infinite profound meaning. Right, I concur. And here they come into being as letters, right, in books and in scrolls and in speech, with, crowns and with melody and with punctuation and their unique shapes. But it has that spiritual source, and it exists as a string, let's say, right? That's what I like to say, at the heart of everything, like in string theory. But instead of a string, it's Hebrew letters and crowns, punctuation, and melody. Okay, let's see. Lloyd Devine says, Moses didn't have to run away, he killed with the name of God. That's right. Was later given away by Datan and Aviram. That's what they teach us. He was approximately 12 and a half years old. 12 and a half. Why did I think it was 40 years old? Traditionally, it's 40 years in Egypt, 40 years in Midian, 40 years in Egypt and the desert afterwards, right? The liberation, right? So how 12 and a half? I'm curious. How old is the earth? The earth is, what is it? 6 billion? 4 billion? That's how old the earth is. What are your religions, says Maria. I am a Hebrew man of the kingdom of Judah. And that is my religions. And what is your religions, Mary or Maria? And Queen of Mud, how old do you think the earth is? Good night, Abba, says my man. Good night, my man. Good night, Daniel. Sweet dreams, God bless. Have you read the Quran? Once again, no, I have not. I will not touch the Quran yet. Probably at some point I will. And that's that. Old as dirt. Yes, indeed, that's the earth. 8 billion people, says Good Times TV. Does that have to do with the earth, or are you saying something else? My religion is Islam. Salam alaikum, Maria or Marie. We're 15 million out of 8 billion, not 40 million? What? Oh, we're 15 million out of 8 billion. Are you debating with someone over how many Jews there are in the world, Good Time TV? 4.5 billion makes sense, yes. That makes sense. And then again, there's the opinion, let's say, of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who said that the earth was created ancient. It was created already as if it had been around for billions of years. And in that way, it can correspond with the earth being several thousand years old in a way, and being very ancient at the same time. Is the earth a giant golem? Well, if you're talking about a golem as something that is clay, man-made, fashioned into something, or if you mean like raw material, upon which there are Hebrew letters, whether hidden or in plain sight, and that they can bring life to that, let's say, lifeless piece of clay, the earth is a giant golem in the very same way that Adam HaRishon was a golem before the divine breath of life was given to him. Right? Vayipach be'apav nishmat chayim, that divine revelation of life that was given to Adam. In that sense, the Adam and earth are made literally from the same material. And in the very same way that the image of God is manifested best through humanity, there is something that corresponds with the earth. And remember that the earth sinned first, right? Just like Han shot first, the earth sinned first. The earth was the first to miss the mark. Instead of fruit trees bearing fruit, it created fruit-bearing trees. That's not what was told that it should be. And then later, we were created from that very earth, which had already missed the mark a little bit, which is why we missed the mark big time with the tree itself. And you can see the correspondence there between earth and man, nature and man. So in that sense, of something that would be, let's say, lifeless, but for the Hebrew letters that sustain it and give it life, if you will, or a physical manifestation as earth, right, that has a core of iron, that has the magma, the seismic activity. I see this all as divine revelations being a force of nature. And the earth is a force of nature. The earth, right, it was just a bunch of dust and right, and it went into orbit around our star, right, around solar, around the sun, or sol. Okay, the Good Time says, this is why you guys are mad, because it goes against what you believed your whole life. That's why you're mad. Once again, bringing it to the Christians, Jesus followers, and others. And I'm curious, Good Times, do you think, and since someone mentioned it about an hour ago, do you think it would be possible, conceivably, that two of the major three, let's say, Abrahamic religions would pair up against the third? Inshallah, you'll read the Quran. If it be God's will, I will read the Quran. Do you know Imam Ali, peace be upon him? I may have heard of him at some point if he's someone known, but I don't know any imams. I know that there's some imams that have a fatwa on them of death because they speak out more liberally and less jihadi. Lloyd Divine says to Blood Nose, Satan was created when Eve was. See Rashi there, right? Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, the commentator, the great Pashtan, though it's no pshat to make such a commentary. Good Time says, it's a dramatic shock to you, but the thing is the truth, and there's no sugarcoating the truth, even though you don't like my words. 5 billion Jews, are you insane? Who told you that, said Sneezer? I'm wondering about the dialogue between them. The snippets that I'm getting are very, Okay. We are the trees. Indeed. We are the trees. We are walking, talking trees of life. Or at least we have the potential. We have that tree of good and evil inside us and the tree of life. How is it that we orient ourselves? Good Times TV, do you like the Palestinians get done in Gaza? Well, what was that? I would? Okay, so he's responding to someone else. Have you studied about the oldest civilization in history? What is it? I believe at some point I may have been curious or learned it in school. It's not something I know offhand. I'm inclined to say it would be, oldest civilization in history is the civilization that let's say, the civilization that was around at the time, let's say 10, 12,000 years ago, maybe 30,000 years ago. And this changes because they are discovering more ancient things the more the world is mapped more closely and thoroughly, if you will, and studied, the more they discover, right? For instance, there's these carvings in stone of figures that have like a bracelet or a watch on their hand, and they're holding what appears to be like bags, like not clutches, but not much more than that, with a strap, I think, and this appears all over the world, and different anomalies, architectural anomalies, feats of engineering and creation that they don't know how they happened. So I haven't studied those oldest civilizations or any other real study. I haven't gone to college. I'm not an educated man. I'm not a learned man. I'm not well-read. I'm just a simple dumbass in the Middle East. So I have not studied much, if at all, about the ancient or oldest civilization in history. But if you're talking about the past, let's say 6,000 or 7,000 years, closer to our history from recorded history than 10 or 12 or 30,000 years ago, I would have to say it's Africa. But I don't know. Smeezer says, only 0.2 of the world population Jews. That calculates to about 16 million. That sounds about right. I remember when it was 0.1. Loy says to BMXers, Sefer HaYashar was written by Yosifun. We don't believe everything it says. Yes, that's why it's considered part of the Sfarim Chitzonim, if I'm not mistaken, or the Sfarim Chitzonim of the Sfarim Chitzonim, but it wasn't incorporated into any of the Hebrew Bible, into the Nevi'im or the Ketuvim. Timothy Riley says, some give everlasting life like water of overflowing life. Yes, the trees and the fruit, and that sustains us. And there are seeds, and we have seeds. And, we have a spiritual root, and trees do as well. We have a shared history in the third day when the fruit-bearing trees did not do precisely what Adonai wanted. Life of Brian? I have a very good friend in Rome called Dickus. Yes, I'm a fan of Life of Brian. It's one of my favorite Monty Python movies. Definitely. Shalom, shalom, said Caleb. Hello, you're back, Caleb. Were you gone, or did you? Or are you just saying shalom again now? Can I have whatever your opinion? But if you call me a lame, he says to Sneezer, I'm assuming it's Sneezer, if not someone else. But forgive me. You're going to come from my neck. Expect me to defend myself and come back at you. You're lame, Good Times TV, says Rusty. Hey, come on now. Let's not get to name calling. Good Times is pretty lame, says Queen of Mud. Come on now. I wouldn't even give my dog that name. Rusty says to Good Times TV. Oh, wait, the chat just jumped. He says, do you acting like a child, right? Trying to rile people up just so you can say they are mad over your words. Grow up, pal. Sneezer says to Rusty, don't shorten his hell. Good Times says, he retorts, I'm not a kid. I am a grown man. But you know what? If you guys want me to leave and not come back, okay, no problem. I'll talk to HN another time. You guys can have the chat continue with your bullshit. I'd like it to make it very clear that everybody is welcome in this chat until they spam so much that I can't even read the chat. At that point, I gotta block them. That's happened once, and not even here. Maybe it was once here. I don't think it was once here. I think my block list has 0. Because I believe that people should be able to troll and spam as much as they want. This is the nature of the internet. I take the good with the bad, and the wonderful with the, less wonderful aspects of it. Hey man, had to go for something to eat. What did you eat? Just B.O.B. Don't leave us hanging. What did you eat? Back now. Do you find it offensive when I joke about with the shout-outs? If so, I won't ask you to do it again. No, I'm not offended. What I said is I didn't say I'm offended, don't do it again. What I said was I'm curious why you're doing it and to what end. If it's just to make you laugh for whatever reason, go for it. Continue asking. I'll give shout-outs. Good Times TV sounds like a good plan, says Rusty. Good Times says, maybe you know a touch of love? I'm sorry, was something said again? Okay. Good Time says, you guys are talking to me and I'm the lame. You guys are talking to me and I'm the lame when I'm literally not even thinking of you guys. Lloyd Devine says to Good Times, we love you, man. They are just not going to become Noahides because you tell them to. Keep the steps, pal. Kabul John says, OMG, Jonah, why are you good and hypocrite? I'm assuming you're talking about me. Thank you for saying that I'm good. I don't know if you mean that I'm good as opposed to not good, but sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm a hypocrite because I have a persona. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I adjust to be a little bit hypocritical in this way or that. It is the nature of having a persona. And as authentic and as plain and simple and transparent as I attempt to be, and sometimes I manage to do it, I still am saying what I'm doing here right now is good and hypocritical. It's good because I'm feeling it comes from a good place, and the digital surrounding is giving me good positive feedback. And it's hypocritical in the sense that I sometimes might contradict myself. I might be seen as a hypocrite because of my actions, my values. The fact that I pick and choose everything means that sometimes I'll be a hypocrite to certain individuals under specific circumstances or conditions. Why am I good and hypocrite? Or do you mean like a very good hypocrite? Either way, I'm hypocritical because I am not yet all I could be. I really, truly would love to be more of myself, completely transparent, with no persona to the degree that I can, and to continue having my outer self fully and really, truly reflect my inner self, and that there will be no contradiction and no cognitive dissonance and no I agree that you can hold a few opinions at the same time. I'm talking about the way that I act in the world. And if you see it as good and hypocritical, or as it, oh, it's all good and hypocritical, like very hypocritical, then that's your opinion. That's just like your opinion, man. And I definitely agree I am. Timothy says, but I was born on the 8th day. The 8th day of what? Wait, hold on. The final drop of tea. The final drop of tea. That was nice. Okay. Good Times says, Rusty says, shout out to Herbert is insults because he is a pervert. LOL. Get your fat ass back here. Good Time says, I let all the Jewish people know to stay away from you. When I do my priestly blessing, I make sure never to bless you. Good Time says, and you know something I don't know, who you are personally. But I know you're a wannabe Jew convert. That's good enough to tell everybody to stay away from the converts. I'm assuming you're still talking to Ariel or to Sneezer, or... It's not UHN, it's Sneezer said it was offensive to UHN, so I wanted to know if it was, because I would have stopped. I'm sorry, if I don't think I was offended by it. I didn't get it, but I wasn't offended by it. Why would it offend me? These are people's names. How can that possibly offend me? I love this channel every day, says Bloodnose. Thank you. I appreciate the kind sentiment and support. I do also love it indeed. Okay. Also, I'm coming up on 100 days since I went back to streaming regularly. 100 days in a few days, ever since I restarted my live stream with Nazarite Awareness Week of the Torah portion of Nassau, where during that week I decided I'm going to go back in broadcasting and we'll see where it takes me. And soon it's going to be 100 days past that. And so I'm going to do a 100-day extravaganza and talk about the analytics a little bit and talk about the live stream a little bit and talk about maybe some of the technical things for people who are interested in the YouTube aspect of what I'm doing here. Or maybe just, a couple of sentences, and then I'll move on. Who knows? But I'll be doing that, and the reason I'm bringing this up is to say that post 100 days, I think... Wait, it glitched? Okay. As I was saying, post 100 days, I think I'm going to scale back to, from Sunday to Thursday, I'm going to scale back to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the way it used to be. That's what it says on the banner of my channel. It says live streaming, right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's what I used to do. And I think I'm going to go back to doing that. 5 days a week is beautiful and wonderful, and it's lovely, and I love doing it every night. But I need to scale back a little bit and see how I am, and maybe come back to doing it maybe 6 days a week or 7 days, who knows, right? Right before Shabbos, right after Shabbos. You can technically do it on Friday morning and Saturday night and keep the Shabbos in between, because the Hebrew day starts at night. Okay, let's continue. Just B.O.B. tell him to make his own channel and then go argue on that. Hey, you know what? I mean, feel free to stay here, obviously. I'm not kicking anybody out. I'm not blocking anybody. But are you interested in debating people? If you're interested, this is not a debating channel. It's more of a sharing of ideas and stuff. It can become contentious, or, a debate can break out, or even a multi-day debate as is going on here. But it's not necessarily a debate channel as such. There are channels dedicated to debating, and I'm sure that you could do a lot of good there as well. Obviously, I'm, again, not kicking you out. But that's not a bad idea, just B.O.B. Good Time says it's so funny, because when I go to talk to my brothers in Israel, I tell them and the girls to stay away from the converts. I talk to them on Omegle, and they say, of course, Omegle doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure you mean a different one. Ariel says, so the reference is lost then, no worries. You not watched Austin Powers? I watched the first one, and the second one once. But let's see, what was it? Oh, okay. Came on to say, Mr. I don't bite. Hard. Yes, he says that to Mrs. Kensington. No. He says it to Miss Kensington. Miss Kensington, yes. Returning to Torah is life's point. I concur. Returning to Torah, returning to oneself, returning to your own particular image of God, and knowing where you stand in the Torah and how to best manifest it and bring it about in life, actually. To keep to the covenant as a physical thing in your flesh or in your mind in your Shabbos, in your Shmitas, to keep it in prayer, to keep it in spontaneous dialogue, hitbodedut, and in just trying not to be a prick. Oy! Okay, continuing. LOL, I got it now, but thank you for the reference or I'd be lost. Are you feel Randy? Do I make you Randy, baby? Yeah! Good Times TV, only 2% of your brothers online. I would venture to say even less, because many of them are Haredi, and many of them have no internet. Or even if they had a kosher version of YouTube, it probably means that the chat would be disabled. The voices have me cracking up, man. Yeah, you know what? When I was just after film school, and I was unemployed, and I saw an ad that said that there could be a discount, or wait, was it then or was it way before? No, I think it was then. I considered very briefly to go to broadcasting school, right? Do a course in broadcasting and in reading and in all that. And I've been told I'm pretty good with voices. I can't do them all, but I'm pretty good with voices. I can hit a certain quality to a voice where even if it's not one-to-one corresponding, it is similar, or it can be. Obviously, I have my limits. And again, I love doing voices just because I love doing bits. I love doing shtick. It's something that sustains me. No question about Torah or Judaism, says LOI Divine. Well, who are you referring to? Well, I mean, someone in the chat, I think, is what's going on here. If I make you breakfast in bed, a simple thank you is all I need. Not all this, how did you get into my house? Rusty, that's nice. Those things are fun, says Run. Timothy, hey, I got it. You could be a Nazarite Mr. Rogers with puppets. You mean like I'll do a Nazarite meets Syphil and Ollie type of thing? Yo, my 90s and aughts people. Shout out to Syphil and Ollie if you remember them. The ones on MTV Europe, the ones on MTV US. Boy. Just B.O.B. I never asked, man, do you live in Israel? I am in Jerusalem. I'm not Jewish, but stay for the lulz. Hey, I'm happy. So yes, I'm in Jerusalem. I am a filthy Jerusalem Jew. Loy is law. Okay, so it's divine law. I have a channel that critiques the reform ways of the state's rabbinic courts of divorce. So wait, Loy, are you yourself a dayan? Are you a mumchele dayanut? Have you studied dayanut? Did you attempt to become a dayan? Or is it more, not professional, but more amateurish, if you will? It's like you're an aficionado, but not a pro. So tell me, the state in France or in Israel? Which state? The French state? Not professional. Cool. The French state or the state of Israel? Critiquing the reformed ways in Israel. Okay, now divorce I can understand. Where do you personally stand on agunot? Do you believe that an aguna is somebody who should be given every help, every measure, every kula, every possibility to untie her from the bond that she is in? An aguna, people, is somebody whose husband, let's say, has disappeared and they don't know if he's alive or dead, and so she can never truly be divorced from him. According to halachic rabbinic law, it is the man who divorces the woman. He must provide her with a get, whether through a messenger or he himself, and the court needs to. It's a process. And there are many women, and I know that the rabbinic courts go above and beyond in order to prove, let's say, that somebody is dead, if that be the case, in order to liberate these agunot. Aguna means anchored. She is anchored to somebody, and he's not even here, and it's a horrible, horrible way to live. A woman that knows where her husband is no aguna. That's right. That's right. If you know where they are, you're not an aguna. But there are many times when you don't know where they are, and you don't know if they're dead or alive, and you don't know, and there are a lot of agunot, and it's a problem. So, okay, let's see. Two old Jewish women sit down at a restaurant, says James Bond, and after they get their food, the waiter comes back and asks, is everything all right? I'm waiting for the punchline. Ella says half of Aleph is 26, half of Aleph, 26 is 13. The 13th letter is Mem, 40. Numbers are important, I think. What do you mean by half of Aleph, 26? What do you mean by Aleph, 26? Aleph is 1, and Lamed is 3, and Pei is 80, and a final Pei is, what is it, 5,000? What is it? It's Kemanpats. So yeah, it's 900, it's 13, it's 1,300. Okay, let's continue. James Bond, we're waiting for the punchline. Where is it? James Bond says, LOL, that was the punchline, you read it. What was the punchline? Did I miss it? Did I screw it up? Two old Jewish women sit down at a restaurant, and after they get their food, the waiter comes back and asks, is everything all right? I don't see a punchline anywhere there, man. Is anything all right? Oh, you said anything, and I read it as everything. It's been 2 hours, just past the 2-hour mark, which means I think it's a good time for me to say goodbye, and hopefully maybe see you tomorrow, maybe see you on Saturday night, and possibly see you on Sunday for the 100 days extravaganza. I think I'll do it on Sunday, and then probably scale back to Monday, Wednesday, Friday of live streams. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep going. Maybe I'll do it later in the day, because it used to be 10. It used to be 10 p.m. And then a month ago, I don't know when, it became 9 p.m. So it's like in flux. It's dynamic. What I know and what I love is you people. I deeply appreciate your time, your kind attention. It's so much fun. So much fun to just hit the button and go live and have a conversation and laugh, spend some time, find some common ground, and enlighten each other and broaden each other's minds. I think it's wonderful. I think it's lovely. As always, trying to bring it into creation, into existence, de facto, actually, just to have it correspond to things where I hopefully will be a better person for the efforts. Okay. I'm saying good night. Good night, good Shabbos if I don't see you, and have a good weekend, y'all. Maybe I'll see you on Sunday night. Yah willing. Let's have a wonderful weekend, a blessed week, and a taste of the world to come. I'll be up, with the comments for the next half hour. I know that it goes into private immediately, but then a minute later I'm able to change it into public. So if you want to have a comment, or a quick back and forth in the comment, I'll stay on for a while. But I'm feeling the tired waves kind of enter my brain. And I must say now good night. I'm sorry if people, whatever I skipped, people whose comments I didn't read, and things I didn't answer, and things I forgot, and it's the nature of being in this raw, live broadcasting stream of the chat and of my verbal blah blah blahing. I love it. I'm grateful to have you here. I don't take it for granted. You could be doing so many other things right now, but you're here with me doing this, those watching now, those watching later. Every like, every sub, every view, every comment, every horrified swipe. It's deeply appreciated. Let's do this again sometime. Good night from Jerusalem. Peace, love.